Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am covering the Moscow, Idaho Bryan Kohberger case. The father of Kaylee Goncalves, one of the victims, he speaks again to Ashley Banfield right after Bryan Kohberger had his arraignment. Bryan Kohberger was just arraigned for the brutal stabbings of 4 innocent college students during the early morning hours of November 13, 2022. Steve Goncalves speaks to Ashley Banfield about his position regarding the DP. And you know what the DP stands for. I want to play this clip, this interview right here, and then we will further discuss.
There are 60 days from now in which the state has to make its intentions known if they're going to seek the death penalty. I know the state hasn't shared a lot with you, and Shannon has been very upfront about the fact this has been very difficult working within this gag order. But have the victims' advocates within the state at least shared with you that this is an intention of theirs to seek the death penalty in this case?
We're working with members of the government in Idaho. We're trying to establish that you just can't hunt our babies. You just can't come to our state and hurt our people. It's unacceptable. We're a small state, but you're going to see how strong we are and how big we are when you mess with us. And we're going to put our foot down, and we're going to show the world, you know what? We hate all the bad things that are happening, but here in Idaho, we can control one thing, and you just can't hunt our babies down. That's just too much. It's just too much. We can't sit here and say, oh, there was 5 victims or 6 victims or 7 victims. Then you go for the death penalty? No, it's been crossed. The line's been crossed, and we're going to go there.
Do you feel as though the state has conferred with you appropriately on your wishes for a death penalty? And do you feel like that is a direction they might be going?
I'm just one family, and they've made that very clear. You know, what you want, Steve, is just what you want. I'm trying to organize different families so we have one united voice, but that's not easy. But that's what we're working towards. And I know there's other families that feel like I do, but we don't want to get too washed up in the revenge factor. We want to remember these girls. We want to remember Ethan, and we want to make sure that when this is all said and done, that's the only people you think of. We want the defendant to just disappear, and all we remember is the beautiful lives that these people had. And then that's the best that we can do. All this media, all the stuff we're doing is so what we remember the victims and we forget who did this crime, which is very uncommon. Normally, we just talk about the person who does this crime. We'd like to turn that on its head, forget about him, and just remember these beautiful people, these beautiful young souls.
So Steve said the line has been crossed. You don't go into the community and hunt down these babies. He was referring to the victims, his daughter, and the other victims as babies. Kind of sounds like other families, victims' families, might not be on board with Steve's position here regarding the DP. What do you think? Do you think this is a DP case? Do you think Bryan Kohberger deserves the DP or not? What's your thoughts on what Steve Goncalves said? He's been speaking to the media, sharing his thoughts. And he also wants Bryan Kohberger's name to be gone, right? He wants this whole case to be remembered for the 4 victims, not Bryan Kohberger. And hopefully down the line, once Bryan Kohberger gets convicted, and it's an understanding, and I believe he will get convicted. Some say, what about if Bryan Kohberger gets acquitted? But I say, what if when he gets convicted, you know, maybe his name will start fading away. Or, you know, is that just how it is in this society? Once a defendant does a horrible act, it's more about the defendant's names than the victims. Let me know your thoughts on that. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button covering this case. Check out my Moscow, Idaho playlist. We'll talk soon. Stay tuned.